So my name's Josh Anderson. I'm currently the assistant principal at Universal Autumn Reed Charter High School. We're the only charter in the state of Pennsylvania that offers approved career and technical education. That is not what I'm presenting on today. If you want to have a conversation about charters and all that, we can do that in private. What I'm going to talk about is the program of study and our way of tracking the data. One for NOCTI improvement, and two for those SOAR credits and the program of study tasks, because for us, we started off with these questions. I went into leadership about 3 years ago at the school. I served as what we called the STEM Academy lead. I also was the NOCTI test coordinator, so I started really looking at the NOCTI data and realizing that we had to really examine it more closely. So we started kind of with these non-negotiables is what we would call them, right? But that all data is accessible, so that every stakeholder, that means students, the instructors, administrators, our OAC partners, Pennsylvania Department of Education, parents, and industry partners have access to our data. That means they know what we're teaching, how well we're teaching it, across the board, right? Parents, kids, teachers. All of our instruction and assessment is aligned to the POS. So as I was doing my formal observations of CTE teachers and looking at their lesson plans and watching what they were doing, I was seeing that they were teaching a lot of really, really great, cool stuff, but it wasn't in the POS. It didn't have anything really to do with what the POS was. And then students weren't finding success on the NOCTI, they were getting frustrated, and there was this disconnect, right? So teachers were kind of going in saying, I'm the culinary teacher, I teach them culinary. Whatever I know about culinary I teach, and it wasn't aligning with what we wanted. So we sort of changed our mindset to this growth mindset with constant improvement, being focused on students' attainment of knowledge and skills, right? It wasn't did your lesson go well, it wasn't does your classroom look good, it wasn't how does the car run after the kids are done fixing it, it was what skills did they attain, do those skills align to the POS programs of study, right? And are they leading them to college and career? Focused again on students, right? How do our students know and understand their own growth? How do they see from the day they walk in the door what they didn't know to what they attain? And trying to find a way to make teachers' jobs more manageable, meaningful, and rewarding, right? It's a rough job. I was a teacher. I taught social studies for 6 years, so I understand the classroom. We're in an urban environment, which has its own set of challenges. So these are kind of the guiding questions that pushed us towards what I'll present on and the things that we discovered. So I guess a little bit about who we are. Like I said, we're the only charter school in Pennsylvania. We're what they call a comprehensive high school, which is a lot different than a CTC. We offer academic programs as well as career and technical education. We're also a neighborhood school. So right about here is City Hall. Right about here is the Philly Stadium. And this is the Schuylkill River where University of Pennsylvania is. Tucked in there is a neighborhood known as Grays Ferry and Point Breeze. Any student who lives within that area comes to our school. So there's no special enrollment. There's no, if you live in that, you're immediately allowed to enter into our school. We also do citywide, so students apply from all over the city, but for the majority, about 50% of our kids come directly out of this neighborhood here. So we're a little bit different than a CTC. We don't have any enrollment stipulations other than where you live and that you fill out the application. So we take everybody. We're about 43% special education. Again, we're Title I, which means every single one of our kids qualifies for free and reduced price lunch. And like I said, citywide. Again, my conversation is not necessarily about the challenge of being in an urban school. I would be happy to tell you about that later. I want to talk about our data tracking and how that looks. So we began to look at processes, ways to figure out this program of study task and align our data to it. So I started kind of trying to figure it out myself. So we have a health-related technologies, automotive, pre-engineering, culinary arts, and a communications technologies program. Here's our kids. Again, I guess I should mention this. We're in about our 7th year of operations. So we only have had completers for about 3-4 years, right? We went through the challenges of growth of starting a brand new program, having seniors in electrical or in culinary arts that had never taken it before. So it was kind of a challenging 5 years. I think we're in a pretty good place, or we're growing now. So if we look at our data in 14, 15, 3 years ago, first year we had legitimate completers, 0% of our kids passed the test at all. So then I started working with the teachers. We really started to look at the data, go there. We made some major growth 10 were advanced, and 24 were competent, which was about 25% of our students. And then we did the same thing again in 2017. We have 15 advanced already, and 30 are competent, which for us is about 40%. If we can keep doubling our numbers every year, we should be pretty good. I'm proud of these numbers for a school like ours to be where we're at. We've really made a massive amount of growth in 3 years. So one of the things that really drove us to that was this. So I looked at the programs of study as the administrator, and I said, we have to figure out what we're teaching 10th graders, what are we teaching 11th graders, and what are we reviewing through. So we broke the task list. We took every single task list, we sat down, we broke them apart. What skills will be taught? How will we align those to the projects? How do we keep the Common Core in there? And then the school year started. And we kind of stopped doing that because everybody was teaching, it was busy. So we kind of had to find something that was a little bit easier or more user-friendly than actually writing 3 years of curriculum while teaching it, right? I know I had a principal that I used to work with that always talked about how Auden Reed is like building a plane while we're flying it. So we've kind of been doing that, and it's really a difficult thing to get into that curriculum writing while you're also trying to teach 3 different sections of kids. It just wasn't happening, right? So how do we find something? And we stumbled upon a program that's called Mastery Connect, which is basically changed the way our instruction is assessed across the board. So it's kind of the focus of my presentation from now on. I would encourage you to ask questions. Let me stop. I have some set slides, and then I have some teachers and kids that actually asked if I could show you the live side of it. So I'll be happy to really dig into it and show you how it works. If you give me a couple minutes, I'll explain it. So Mastery Connect is a data system. These are the things that I, as an administrator, love about Mastery Connect. One, it syncs with our student information system every 24 hours. We use PowerSchool. So a kid enrolls in your class, they show up on your roll, next day, they're in Mastery Connect. So you don't have to switch them over, you don't have to change them, they're immediately on your class, right? They also have every single program of study task lists, every item, already uploaded into their system. So you teach 15-99999, you can immediately access the program of study task list. You teach whatever, Doc, give me another one that we have. I don't know the SIPs like you do.
5108.
Yeah, we have 50, no, we do 51-9999999. All of them are in there. Every single program of study task is in there.
120508.
There you go, 120508, we have that one. The thing that I'm hoping to get out of this presentation is the possibility that there's a community of data, right? The reason I know 15-99999 is because there's 2 people other than my engineering teacher in the nation, in the state, that use Mastery Connect that teach 15-99999. So if one teacher puts up a test that's aligned to the program of study, my teacher can upload it, use it, and push it to his kids without any work at all necessarily, right? I know that a lot of you guys that have been around have known this Todd Luke fellow that analyzes NOCTI data. He's always talking about it. If the best automotive teacher put his assessments on Mastery Connect, I could mandate my automotive teacher, who sometimes struggles with assessment, to use those assessments, right? And I'll show you how that would work. It also allows for tests, like formative assessments, paper, pencil, as well as performance. You can put rubrics in there that are aligned to the program of study task list. So this is how it looks. So on the administrative level, it's amazing. I know these are small, but I can get data analysis across the building. So we started mandating what we call common assessments. They're quarterly assessments. If you've taught this task in your class, you need to have questions that the students are exposed to so that, 1, they pass the NOCTI, and 2, we have data that shows they are proficient. I know this came up in the last presentation, right? But for them to qualify for those SOAR credits, teacher has to sign off that they are proficient on 100% of those tasks. I want my teachers to be able to say that there's proof that they are, not just their signature, but there's actual physical numbers proof. So you can see it breaks down advanced, proficient, basic, below basic, and no score. You can kind of see, I know it's not the easiest thing to see, but this is Miss Tina Matzek. She teaches in communication technology and is transitioning to graphic design. But you can see all of her kids, and then if this was live, you could click on this and see what program of study task item this is. You could highlight this and see which kids scored advanced, which kids scored basic, which kids scored proficient. So that's just on the administrative level. So I have 2 culinary teachers. I can see all of my culinary kids. I can see Mr. Bennett's kids. I can see Miss Boyer Graves' kids, right? So then again, I can sort of look at it and say, well, why did all of Bennett's kids get advanced on this task and all of Boyer Graves get basic? Where's the discrepancy of what they're teaching and the actual instruction going on in the classroom? It also gives me an item analysis, which again, I could show you, but you can go through. You can see the task list, right? ComTech 1305, 1303, 1109, and on the live side, if I highlight over